So the variant configuration is a module in the SAP where you can tell the SAP system how to configure, or how it is possible to configure materials. Like if you want to buy a car, or if you want to create a sales order for a car, you want to configure the engine it's using, the tires it's using, the color, and etc. And that's done by variant configuration. If in SAP GUI it looks something like this. This is for an example product. It's a pump, and yeah, that's it looks like it looks, and it's powerful, but not really what people want to use these days. So we combined it with UI5. And there was a step before that. Some years ago, my colleagues created an implementation in XJS, which was another JavaScript framework. And in the last year, we replaced it and migrated to UI5. And this solution looks something like this. It has, I think it looks a little bit better, and is more usable, and it's usable in web, in every UI5 project. You can use it in your browser and include it in other tools, like we implemented this for an e-commerce solution, a business-to-business e-commerce solution, so the customer could configure materials they want to order. And yeah, let's have a short demo how this looks and works. I hope it loads. It looks good. Yeah. So this is the configuration, and what this does is every time I select a value in this properties, a round trip goes back to the SAP system, sends the new values. The SAP system simulates the whole configuration, checks if it's valid, and sends me valid values back. And by this, it's also possible that the entire form changes when I select a value, because the SAP system says, okay, if you want this configuration, you need to specify these parameters, and yeah. So the whole system is stateless, and you just configure the front end. The front end sends the whole thing back to the backend. Backend says, okay, this is the new form, and our module renders the new form. Yeah, but well, there's always this one person by the customers who tells you, but this doesn't look like my Mercedes configurator. I want to have images and cool features and something like this. And so we went a little bit further and implemented something that's a little bit smaller than a car. So we used an example as a pen, and we implemented a technology, or a UI component, where you can layer multiple images and render a new image, or render a complete image of the configured product. And this also, I can show you just so you know what I'm talking about. You can change the color here, and the color updates in the image, and yeah, it's a very tiny feature in code, but it's a feature that makes the customer happy, and that's features we like. So how does it work? Okay, we got a component in the SAP system that wraps the API and just provides one single function module we can call. That's the LOVC wrapper on the top. The next layer was historically an XDirect layer, which is a protocol used by XJS that used HTTP via POST requests and allowed to call a simple RPC protocol over HTTP. And because they used XJS, they implemented a submodule that offered us a HTTP service for XDirect, and then there was this JS HTML front end. And thanks to new technologies, we now got the gateway. The gateway offers a JSON RPC service, so we can now call function modules with SAP gateway functionality. So this old legacy code can be dropped, and we have no standard ways to call this. And of course, the front end is now a UI5 code. Yeah. What I'm going to talk about now a little bit further is not this layer, because it's a UI5 con and not an ABAP con. This isn't of any interest today. The next is more about the JSON RPC service and how you can call JSON RPC, or how you can call function modules via JSON. So this works by just posting a request to SAP gateway JSON RPC, given the correct modules are enabled, and you just.
Have you found any documentation on this service, or you just debugged it?
I'm not entirely sure if there's any.
I found this service too, and I haven't found any, and I stopped debugging.
What happened that a colleague just came to me and said, well, there's this service, use it, and yes, it works. And it's JSON RPC is a standard, so you can look that up. It's actually implementing the standard, and yeah, it works. Now, maybe.
I tried.
Okay, but what's a bit tricky about the service is you have to send it a XFSR token, so a cross security request token, whatever. But this service doesn't give you this token. Yeah. So you have to abuse any other OData service to give you a token and then call this service with this token. And yeah, if you call this function module with a material number, a language, and the flag that you would like to have the metadata, you get a tiny JSON structure here that contains the configuration. It basically contains the possible fields with possible values or value ranges. It contains metadata about these fields and a list of frame sets or fields, how these fields should be layouted. It does not include the rules how these fields are mapped to each other, or the constraints between these rules. That's only implemented in ABAP, and you don't want to re-implement this whole stuff in UI5. So to make this a little bit better understandable, I called the service with a smaller product. So in this product we just got one field, the color, with 6 values. You can see there's this field with these possible values. We can see the configuration is incomplete but not inconsistent. So there can't be much inconsistency with just one field, but it's incomplete, so we need to select something, and this field also contains the information that we need to select this field, and yeah, here is something not translated. And yeah, when the user now picks a field and selects a value, we send the value back. We send the user selected in the iPod color field, they selected the value 01, and the service sends us, okay, you get this characteristic selected. You can now select these characteristics, and the validation is now valid and complete. So we can now order this product. So I'd really like to show some code, but showing code is always like it's just like 500 lines of code, but nobody really wants to scroll through those lines. So I'm just giving a rough run through what this does, and the code is just implementing these ideas. If someone wants to see it, can talk to me after the talk.
Have a GitHub repository?
No, it's not open source yet. I have to talk to my boss about this, but yes. But the code is open nonetheless, since it's JavaScript, so you can always see it, so there's no reason in hiding it. And yeah, but I don't see a reason to show that much code in a translation. Okay, basically the UI5 layer or component is built of two components. We got like in every model view control, we get a view and a controller. The controller is called adapter in this setting. That's basically the thing that talks to the backend, and it's just a fancy Ajax client that transforms data from what the JSON RPC uses to what we can use internally. And then there's a variant configurator, which is the view. It's a custom UI5 control, pretty much like we saw today. And yeah, basically that's the whole story. There are multiple implementations of the adapter, of course, because as told you, there was this X-Direct layer and this new JSON RPC layer, so there's a different implementation for this. But the variant configurator can use either of them, and just yeah, work with this. So how does this work? The adapter provides two JSON models, and it basically calls the backend, gets the information, splits them up in a constraint model and a metadata model. So we got the selected values separated from the constant metadata, because the metadata does not change. And the view just consumes these models, generates controls out of them, and yeah, renders these controls so the user can select things. It also creates bindings. So using SAP UI5, we can use data binding, and by this we don't have to react to every user change by hands. So that we can just react to changes in the binding, and we don't have to watch for these controls directly, but the controls are binded. And if, for example, the server tells us now hide this field, we just update the visible flag in the model, and automatically the UI5 changes the visibility because we binded that flag. And yeah, saved us a lot of work. And when the user changes something, the adapter sends a new state to the backend, receives an update, updates the corresponding models, and the bindings updates the views. That's basically the whole story of this implementation. Yeah, I'm far ahead. Maybe I show some code. So, this is pretty old code, so please don't judge me. So what we do is, there are multiple types of form fields. So we got maybe a multi-combo box if you can select multiple fields, or just a combo box if you select box, if you can just select one. And the variant configurator tries to figure out the correct implementation for the given metadata. This is not always optional possible. Like if you have a yes/no option, you also want to have a not selected option, and so you can't just use a checkbox. And Yeah, that's the basic idea. So we are just one time when we receive the metadata, we are generating these controls, binding everything we can possibly bind, and we don't need to create new form fields or new controls when the metadata or when the configuration changes, because the metadata does not change, just the state of fields or the value of fields can change, and this is doable via bindings. Any questions so far? Can I show you something? Oh, thank you.
Dynamically, then create the fields depending on what metadata.
Yes. So when we do first request, we tell the server, give me the metadata, and that's a list of fields with type, name, and like is it required or something like that, and this metadata does not change. So in the further request, we do not fetch the metadata again, and we just generate these form fields when we do the initial load of metadata. And the values are another set of
But then, so you have different kinds of fields, and then you do through, say, then you have this if else
yes.
up there where you say depending on what kind of fields you have.
Yes.
The display, when you display the pens, you do that with layered PNGs?
Yeah, we are using transparent PNGs and just layering them above of each other using absolute position and.
So think about SVG.
Yeah, that's possible, but the problem is in complex images. I don't know if it works with vector graphics every time, and also the.
It does. Have a look at SVG. You can do everything.
Okay, yeah, definitely a cool idea, but most time this idea dies when you ask the customer if you can provide the images. So it looks great, and then you tell them, yeah, you just have to deliver images. It's no problem. Then okay, we don't take it.
But would you use a picture inside of the SVG then for details, or would you like to render every detail of the pen as an SVG object?
Yeah, if the customer only has a countable set of products, you can create an SVG image for each part and combine parts.
Very photorealistic then, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Depends on the product and on the
So
customer.
a pen does not have too many parts, so therefore it would be suitable. But if you have a car, you have.
You could also extend this to using WebGL if the customer can provide STL files for the product. You can use that and just throw together some 3D images. So this is not limited to PNG. You just have to get extended. Any more questions? I have 10 minutes left. Please save me.
You can have another coffee.
You gave opportunity for network.
Okay.
I'm just trying the service because it's
Maybe we could.
I found it and found nowhere any documentation.
No, I really think that this. Maybe you can help us. Okay.
Yeah, but maybe the question is, you skipped the part from the backend because you said it's UI5 one, but this is now the part where's the data coming from. So when you call the service that is there on the gateway?
There's a service on the gateway, yeah. But it's a clever colleague of mine, Johannes Klein, wrote it, and I have no idea what it does, to be honest. So if you want to have more information about this, I'll. I don't think so. No.
Most services are not active by default because of security.
So it's there, it's not enabled.
Yeah.
There is no documentation for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you need to define.
Sounds very good.
Yeah, but I took a picture and it's not so difficult to call it. So it's
And you need to activate at least one other service to get the token. So yeah.
You mean activate the service called the OData service, right? To get the token.
to activate one standard gateway service,
Yes.
which will, when you call it by GET, you will get
Yeah.
the XRF token.
Genau. Or you need to implement a new service that just gives you the token, because the standard OData service are something like user catalog, or something you don't want to enable by default.
I tried it in the list.
We can try together if you want.
Just have to restart my hosting.
So, okay.